Most people overpay for products like this. Here's why this one is different. I've been testing the Optoma HD39HDR for a few weeks now, and the experience feels a lot more sensible than the hype you usually see. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What really stood out for me was how the projector handled everyday use without demanding a dark room or a huge budget. First off, the brightness is something you notice right away. At 4000 lumens, the image stays vivid even when you're watching a football game in a living room with the lights on. I tried it during a family movie night and the colors didn't wash out the way cheaper units tend to do. That level of brightness also means you can set it up in a multi-purpose space, like a home office that doubles as a presentation room, and still get a clear picture without pulling down all the curtains. For anyone who likes to keep their space functional, that's a real plus. HDR compatibility adds another layer of depth. When I streamed a Netflix HDR title, the contrast pushed the dark scenes just dark enough to be immersive, while the highlights stayed crisp without blowing out. It's not a theater-level picture, but for a bedroom or a compact media room, the added color range makes a noticeable difference. If you're into gaming, the fast response time of 8.4 milliseconds pairs nicely with the 120 Hz refresh rate. I hooked up a PlayStation 5 and the motion stayed smooth, with no visible lag during fast-paced racing titles. That responsiveness is something you'd normally expect from a higher-end projector or a dedicated gaming monitor. Installation is surprisingly straightforward. The 1.3 times zoom lets you adjust the image size without moving the projector a ton, and the mounting options are flexible enough for ceiling or tabletop placement. I set it up on a simple shelf about 3 meters from the screen, and the image filled the wall perfectly after a quick keystone correction. The plug-and-play feel helped me avoid the usual trial and error that comes with larger home theater units. Plus, the connectivity options are generous as you get HDMI 2.0, a USB port for media playback, and even a built-in speaker for quick audio when you don't have an external sound system handy. One area where the HD39HDR shines is lamp life. Optoma advertises up to 15,000 hours, and after a few hundred hours of use I haven't seen any dimming or color shift. That translates to years of usage before you have to think about a replacement, which is a relief when you're budgeting for a home theater setup. The quiet operation, rated at just 26 dB, also means you won't hear the projector whining during a dramatic movie scene or a tense gaming moment. It blends into the background, letting the content be the star of the show. Now, let's talk a little about the pros and cons that matter most when you're deciding whether to bring this into your home. On the plus side, the brightness and HDR support combine to give a vivid picture that works in lit rooms. That's a big win for anyone who doesn't want to black out the house. The fast response and 120 Hz refresh make it a solid choice for gamers who need smooth motion without ghosting. And the ease of setup, with the zoom and flexible mounting, takes the frustration out of getting a large image on the wall. On the downside, the built-in speaker is functional but not meant to replace a proper sound system, so you'll probably want an external audio solution for a more immersive experience. Also, while the image is clear, the native resolution is still 1080p, so you won't get true 4K detail even though it accepts a 4K signal. If you're on the fence, think about how you plan to use the projector. For a dedicated home theater that's going to be dark most of the time, you might want to look at a higher resolution model. But if you need a versatile unit that can handle movies, sports, games, and occasional presentations without demanding a perfect lighting environment, the HD39HDR hits a lot of the right notes without breaking the bank. Alright, that wraps up my thoughts on the Optoma HD39HDR. I hope the rundown helped you see where this projector could fit into your setup. If you decide to give it a try, the link is below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.